Spin, spin, sugar. I'm everyone. I feel used. I'm everyone. I need you. I want perfection. I'm real need. I see attention. See through me. Call on me. Spin, spin, sugar. Crawl on me. Spin, spin, sugar. Spins on me. Spin, spin, sugar. Twists on me. Spin, spin, sugar. I'm everyone. Can you live along me? I'm everyone. Painted black and white and easy. I've seen attention. See through me. I want perfection. I'm real need. Call on me. Spin, spin, sugar. Crawl on me. Spin, spin, sugar. Spins on me. Spin, spin, sugar. Twists on me. Spin, spin, sugar. Call on me. Spin, spin, sugar. Crawl on me. Spin, spin, sugar. Spins on me. Spin, spin, sugar. Twists on me. Spin, spin, sugar.
There might be some rain coming through. We expect rain soon. Rain is close. The session has been declared wet. No sign of this rain stopping. clearing up. Rain should be gone for now. Nothing but sunshine all day.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family and let's race towards the future.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this broadcast of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League Round 1 of our summer series for 2024-25. This is Steve Hoppett in the commentary booth, and Kobe Jordan pushing the buttons tonight and producing what we expect to be a beautiful broadcast. And this is brought to you by Everything Simulated and Inside Lane Productions, streaming exclusively through Quasi Esports YouTube channel. And obviously, if you're hearing me, then you're in the right place. And the live chat is up. Subscribers can get in that and chat and take part in what we're doing tonight. We'll be drawing some attention to the socials during the broadcast. Anybody who is subscribed can, for at least 1 minute, can take part in that and give us your opinion on how we're going. A 75-minute race tonight, so the boys are rocking and rolling out there in qualifying at the moment. Just a touch over 2 minutes left in open qualifying, and it really will mix things up with the open qualifying rather than the flying fast lap. Where everybody is out there and they take advantage of the draft from the other vehicles on track to try and get the best possible time so that they get the best possible starting position. And at the moment, the old dog himself, Adam Malone, at the top of the charts, which is not unusual. 29.712 is the lap that he's put in so far. Aidan Schulz in second place. Perry Anastakis from Rogue Motorsport is sitting in third highest there at the moment with a 29.857. And we got Cade Donnelly and Troy Davidson from Simboys, and then Tony Roffey from Rogue. Craig Roffey is back again, and great to see Craig in the server tonight with a 29.969 in seventh place on the grid so far. And Gary Wellman, Season 1 champion. And Ryan Andrews from the US and Rick Vincent, also from Rogue Motorsport. Luke Keamy just outside the top 10 with an 11th place on a 30.1. So it's reasonably tight out there. Ryan Andrews actually on a 30.040. So once you get outside that top 8, it's fairly close, although Ryan is actually less than probably about 1/10 off where Gary Wellman sits in 8th place so far. Adam Malone continues to hold that down, and we've got 16 seconds on the clock for qualifying. So we'll see if Adam can actually hold on to that pole position. And Aidan Schulz at the moment going off the front row right next to Adam. And Adam Malone, obviously from Southern Stars, and with the Mish's Garage sponsorship, as well as several others. We'll get to take a look at that during the race. But some announcements tonight as well, later on in the broadcast. And beautiful Texas Motor Speedway, 75 laps around here as we take a look at the Everything Simulated boys. That's Shannon Wright leading Jared Williams, number 96 there at the moment on camera. Tristan Koch is 12th, Luke Keamy 11th. Jared Williams 13th. Adam St. John from Full Bore Racing also in there at the moment. So we've got a fairly decent field here at the moment, guys, and this is going to be a fantastic race. The order of the day in the driver's briefing was racing room, so we'll see what the boys can do with that around a track that does have plenty of room on it. There's a reasonable amount of width here. As you can see, there are 3 lanes marked out at this track, but there are a couple of tricky spots coming into that tri-oval across the start-finish line. It can get a little bit tight. So anybody who drifts out to the outside towards the wall may find 1 or 2 cars on their outside. So we'll see what we can manage with that. This will be a night race, so we're expecting the lights to come on at some point. And yeah, just fantastic field out there as we take a look at Barry Neal in the 022 car from New Zealand. We'll come up with a few race facts at the moment as we get the slide up, and a great looking overlay there from the producer. And obviously it's a 1.5 mile track. It's also 2.41 kilometres, 75-minute race. It is time certain, so that will include any caution periods. 70% fuel. There's the starter set and then 3 sets of tyres over the wall, and obviously a fixed setup that the boys are running. And yeah, just going to be fantastic. Can't wait for this one. We've had our share of recruitment races over the last 5 or 6 weeks and weeks off with events and stuff like that going on. So we'll see what we can do. We're in the warm-up now, and the boys getting the last few laps in, and some of the others refreshing their drink or whatever they need while they've got a few minutes before we actually grid up, as we continue to watch Barry Neal, who's doing some good things out there tonight. So will be interesting to see how Barry goes. With 4 sets of tyres all up, Barry won't have to worry about that. He's pretty good with his tyre wear. But with that extra set of tyres tonight, with that 4th set, that'll take the strain off the boys a little bit. And the extra set was because with roughly a 30-second lap or low 30s in the actual race time, that 75 minutes could mean we could see as many as 130 or 140 laps at this one. So we'll wait and see how we go. Cautions will obviously play into that. As I said, it's time certain, and that will include yellow flag periods. 70% fuel means that they'll probably get 30-something laps out of a tank, maybe more. Some of the guys tend to stretch it a little bit further than most. So we'll wait and see how we go with the fuel loads and how many laps the boys can get out of that. But yeah, look, fantastic stuff. Great to be back with an actual championship, a points series. This one is for points, and because it's a championship round, the boys are running the most recognisable numbers, the ones that are actually assigned to them for the league. So fantastic stuff there. We'll just take a bit of a look, and we've really got some great stuff going at the moment. And we're going to take in a very quick ad break at the moment while I have a quick chat to the producer. We'll be back in a moment.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
And welcome back to the broadcast of Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League Summer Series for 2024-25, round one at Texas Motor Speedway. And I thought there was a bit of an issue, but it was only on my end with the broadcast, but that's fine. I've got that sorted out now. My browser was lagging behind a bit for some reason, but that's all fixed and it is working perfectly. And if we look at the grid, Adam Malone takes pole position for round one with Aiden Schulz right next to him in the number 52 car. As we go to row two, Parry Anastakis from Rogue Motorsport in the 144, starting next to Kate Donnelly from Simboys in the number 41. Go to row three, Troy Davidson and Tony Roffey coming off row three, and that's another Simboys Rogue combination. Craig Roffey and Gary Wellman from Rogue and Simboys once again, and they come off row four. Row six, Luke Keamy. Yep, we're going to get back to row five. Ryan Andrews and Rick Vincent. Luke Keamy and Tristan Koch off row six. Row seven, Jared Williams and Adam St. John from Full Bore. Row eight, Shannon Wright and Michael Latter. Row nine will be Troy Mortensen and Barry Neal. Row 10, Derek Jacobs from the US and Scott McClintock in the number 016. Row 11, Brett Campbell starting rear of field, and we'll see what Brett can do with that tonight. That's his preferred starting position there, and likes to work his way forward in the field as the cars are led out by the pace car. And of course, big news for Series 2 in 2025. On December 10th, iRacing will release the Gen 3 V8 Supercars, so the full-size Mustang and the Chev Camaro, and we'll be doing some testing with that while we're in between rounds of the Summer Series, and which wraps up 19th of January, and then we'll have the Australia Day weekend off, and may end up actually doing a recruitment race with the Gen 3 cars the week before we start the Series 2 round one race. So we'll see how we go. But yes, getting Gen 3, everybody's excited about that. So the last 6 times that we'll be running the Gen 2 cars from 2019, and the pace car, the lights are off and the pace car is out of the way, as Adam Malone will actually take control of the field Adam is right alongside the number 52 of Aidan Schulz, and Barney, the flag marshal, gives him the green. Adam Malone, a little bit of a flash there right before we get the green flag, and he gets a fantastic start on that, opens up a couple of car links on Aidan Schulz, and the number 41 of Kate Donnelly right in behind him. So the field gets a really good start there, almost an arrowhead in behind the top 4 or 5 cars, as we are single file for the first 4, and then we are double file back behind that for a few cars. And Tony Roffey there in the yellow Rogue Motorsports car alongside Troy Davidson, as the boys side by side there, Gary Wellman and Craig Roffey doing battle once again, as they did many times during season 1. And some great pictures coming out of that there as we take a look at this field. We're looking at around about 20-21 cars there at the moment out on the track, and that's a good turnout for round 1, so pretty happy with that. As we take a good look at this, as Adam Malone continues to lead from Aidan Schulz and Kay Donnelly, with Troy Davidson and Perry Anastakis up to 5th place for Rogue Motorsport. And we start this 75 minutes. So we're looking at around 147 laps according to the little telltale calculation. And we'll see how we go with that. But that is time sensitive, and it will include caution periods. So the laps may come down from that, as Aidan Schulz takes the lead away from Adam Malone, but Adam's not done fighting for that. And we go almost 3 wide there coming into the tri-oval. Kay Donnelly and Aidan Schulz absolutely battling for that lead spot. And Troy Davidson follows him through, running very close with Aidan Schulz there at the front. Adam Malone on the outside, but drops back a couple of spots. With Gary Wellman right in behind him, and Adam Malone drops down to the mid-track and down, works his way down to the inside line, and sitting on the inside of Aidan Schulz, and right in front of Perry Anastakis, Gary Wellman, side by side almost with Adam Malone and Aidan Schulz, but Troy Davidson now in the lead of this one. Kate Donnelly drops back a spot, and has Aidan Schulz all over the back of him. Adam Malone now also got his eye on these 3 cars in front of him, and wants to run back at the front. Perry Anastakis in behind Adam Malone, and Perry's teammate Rick Vincent in that blue Rogue Motorsports car, and he's right in behind his teammate there. So they'll probably work together there very shortly to try and improve their position. Aidan Schulz still battling with Troy Davidson and Gary Wellman. And a bit unusual of this run of Gary's, normally likes to hang back a bit and wait for the closing stages to make his move. But he's certainly pushing hard there at the moment and takes the lead away from his teammate Troy Davidson in that number 23 car. And Aidan Schulz side by side with Davidson on the outside. And these boys battling for second position with Kate Donnelly from Simboys in behind Aidan Schulz. And he's actually got Adam Malone just on his inside a little bit with Perry Anastakis and Rick Vincent. And in behind them is, I'm just trying to see where that blue and white car is. I think it might actually be Troy Mortensen. No, actually I think it's Ryan Andrews. In the number 74 car. And we've got plenty of action right through the field there at the moment. Tony Roffey's dropped back a few spots, but Gary Wellman comfortably leading this by a couple of car lengths at the moment, with 2 of his teammates in behind him in Troy Davidson. And Kate Donnelly has actually lost a spot to Aidan Schulz there. So Aidan battling Rick Vincent for 4th place there at the moment. And Rick Vincent managed to get up to 3rd, so Aidan back to 4th. And then Kate Donnelly rounds out your top 5. Lap 9 here at the moment. 75-minute race, but we've come down to lap 145 as it recalculates the time period left in the race. And some great action here at the moment. A lovely, clean first 9 or 10 laps, and hopefully we can keep it that way. Nice wide track here, as I said earlier, and the boys are going to absolutely love this. They've been chomping at the bit to get back into some points racing and get the next championship happening. So 6 fortnightly rounds. No race next week, but there's another one on the 24th of November in 2 weeks' time. And that one, that's going to be exciting as well. So we'll see how we go here. Who will take victory in round one of our summer series at Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League? As we continue the battle, people moving back and forward. Barry Neal's now found himself battling for third position and battling for second, and side by side with Aidan Schulz, and they take those spots away from Gary Wellman. Rick Vincent got himself up the front, but Barry Neal now down on the inside line, and Barry in that 0.22 from Ayatura Racing will take the lead from Rick Vincent, with Aidan Schulz battling Troy Davidson for the third spot. Side by side there at the moment, and a little bit of contact there. Aidan just a little bit too close. Thought he might have been clear, but he wasn't, and nothing came of that. So a little bit of rubbing his racing there, as we got two of the Sim boys in behind that battle between Aidan and Troy, and that is Kate Donnelly and Gary Wellman. Ryan Andrews still racing in the mid-pack there at the moment. Long way to go for these guys. So plenty of battles yet to come, plenty of action yet to come. As we click over lap 12 at Texas Motor Speedway, as we take a look from along the side of Ryan Andrews at 74 Mustang, with some wonderful sponsorship for Inside Lane Productions. And just a reminder that the Oz Oval Series are all brought to you by Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions, and Quasi Esports. So Rick Vincent takes the lead back from Barry Neal, but Barry's not willing to give this up too easily. And some fantastic battles here right through the field. These guys really fighting for sheep stations at the moment. Rick Vincent goes very wide to the outside and gives Barry Neal a chance to get through that open door, but Rick's not giving it up either and manages to keep his nose in front as he moves down into that low line on the inside there and cuts off any opportunity for Barry Neal, who sits in second. Troy Davidson and Aidan Schulz still battling for that third spot. So that's your third and fourth. Kate Donnelly and Gary Wellman in behind that to round out the top six there at the moment. As Aidan again comes up right alongside Troy and then decides to give you some bit more racing room. As we take a look at the rest of the field, Tony Roffey still mid-pack there. Ryan Andrews has picked up a couple of spots. Barry Neal comes back at Rick Vincent as he goes mid-track. And there's Tony Roffey there in the middle of the field. And Tony's having a great run there at the moment. Knows there's a long way to go. And he's just going to let these boys at the front battle it out and see what they can do with it. But almost three wide at the front there, but they're all fairly spaced out as Aidan and Troy continue to battle right behind Barry Neal and Rick Vincent. Those two battling for the lead of the race. So now Barry's got his hands full with Aidan wanting to take second spot away from him and Troy Davidson in behind those two, trying to keep himself up the front of this field inside the top five with his teammate Kate Donnelly rounding out that five. So we take a look further back in the field as Jared Williams sitting 16th with Everything Simulated. Shannon Wright out there as well from Everything Simulated. And those guys putting in the best effort. They know there's a long way to go. So the 96 of Jared Williams there with the bright green wheels. And he's got his teammate out on track there as well. I think he's a couple of cars behind him, a couple of positions behind. And Derek Jacobs back to 20th at the moment. But as I said, 18 laps out of 144 for a 75-minute race. A very long way to go, folks. So still this battle at the front continues between Rick Vincent and Barry Neal, and Aidan Schulz wanting a piece of this, and Troy Davison in behind him on the inside. And he's actually managing to hold on to that spot from Kate Donnelly and Gary Wellman, who seem to have just sort of slotted themselves into a comfortable position here at the moment, keeping touch with the leaders, but not really challenging at this point in the race. It's fairly early, and they know that there's a long way to go. Gary didn't win the series by being too desperate. He knows his stuff, so I expect to see him challenging at the front again much later in the race as Rick Vincent continues to lead this side-by-side, Barry Neal and Aidan Schulz. And then we've got about 3 or 4 car lengths back to fourth place of Troy Davison and a couple of more car lengths back to Kate Donnelly. But Barry Neal's won out on that battle, and Aidan drops back to third with Troy Davison in fourth. Rick Vincent continues to lead. Aidan Schulz now comes back along the outside, takes second spot away from Barry Neal, but Barry's going to come back at him, I think. Aidan all over the back of Rogue Motorsports' Rick Vincent in the 94 car. And there goes Barry down the inside line, side by side with Aidan. So we've got a fantastic battle going here at the moment. Rick Vincent looking at this happening in his mirror, but Aidan's has dropped down the inside. We've got 3 wide now coming around through the turn. Aidan moves up on Rick Vincent, just blocks off any opportunity there for Rick to take the lead back. And Aidan gets his nose in front, but Barry Neal actually still side by side with Aidan as the two of those are fighting for the lead of this one at round 1 at Texas Motor Speedway, lap 22 of a possible 145 in a 75-minute race. We're going to take a quick ad break while I grab a mouthful of water. We'll be back in just a moment. Stick around.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway for the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League, round 1 of our summer series, and a bit of action there while I was grabbing a drink. Aidan Schulz off the outside wall, and that cost him big time. We'll take a look at an instant replay of it now. While leading, he's managed to actually clout that wall, and he's pushed him back to around about 13th or 14th position. As we take a look at this, where Rick Vincent is actually, I see what's happened there. Yeah, Rick's actually contacted the back of Aidan because Aidan's just moved up a little on track. Doesn't look like either car has a lot of damage, so those guys are able to continue on. But both Rick Vincent and Aidan Schulz coming into contact and dropping back through the field. But a very long way to go, lap 26 of a possible 144 in a 75-minute race. As we go back live now, and Barry Neal back in command of this one, with 2 sim boys breathing down his neck. He's got Troy Davidson and Kate Donnelly. And one of the everything simulated cars down on the inside there. That's actually Shannon Wright in the 023 Commodore. And he's absolutely flying there at the moment. He's having a great run. Side by side with Troy Davidson, challenging for second place in this one. And Ryan Andrews also up there, and he actually splits Troy Davidson and Shannon Wright, and then moves in behind Troy Davidson on the outside. Barry Neal continuing to lead this one. And the boys are in a fairly decent pack there at the moment with just a few stragglers at the back, but everybody's still on the lead lap from what I can see. So no problem there. And we just have to wait and see what Rick Vincent and Aidan Schulz can do to recover from that little coming together between them and the wall. Neither one will be too happy, but that's racing and they'll accept that and move on. The cars are not damaged enough to really do any harm to their race. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Just 2 guys wanting the same piece of real estate, and that's what happens. Craig Roffey there at the moment in behind Gary Wellman. And right about mid-pack there at the moment as Aidan continues to try and fight his way back. He's actually got Troy Mortensen in that red and blue car all over him. So Troy challenging Aidan for that spot and takes the inside line behind Parry and Astakis, with Adam Malone in front of Parry and right in behind Troy Davidson on that inside line. Now they're back up to about mid-track, and the boys have come together again. I think that was Rick Vincent and Aidan Jules. Once again, I think that was Rick Vincent and Aidan. So we'll take a look at what might have happened there, but that one there has actually done quite a bit of damage to Aidan's car. He's lost the rear wing, obviously. Take a look at what's happened here. Now, Aidan to mid-track and then back to the outside. Rick Vincent moving to the outside, and I think Aidan might have moved back up on him again. Rick Vincent now down to the inside. Oh, I see what's happened. Yes, okay. Rick's tried to take advantage of the gap between Aidan and Troy Mortensen, as Troy, I think, has moved up the track, contacted Rick, and the impact has actually spun him into Aidan, who has then clouded the wall. So the three cars involved in that one, but it looks like Aidan's the only one to come out with any serious damage as we go to caution on lap 30. And the boys will pit for this one. On lap 30, I imagine they'll fuel it up, but still quite a way to go. So I don't think they would have had enough tyre wear to justify throwing a set of tyres on it. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that, as I believe the entire field has pitted for this caution. So we'll take a very quick ad break again while we're under caution and honour some sponsors. We'll be back in just a moment. Stick around.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future. If you love...
Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway for the Oz Oval Summer Series 24-25, and this is round one. And Ryan Andrews now leads the field after that caution, with Aidan Schulz coming together with Troy Mortensen and Rick Vincent, where the three guys were fighting over a piece of real estate. There wasn't quite enough room, and Rick contacted Troy Mortensen, then Troy into Aidan Schulz. And Aidan is back out there, although he's got no rear wing at the moment, so we'll see how that will actually affect him in the race. He's had a couple of moments there so far, which has not actually done him any favours, considering he was fighting for the lead for the first 20 odd laps of this race. But Ryan Andrews now without the pace car and in control of the field, the number 74 car. Shannon Wright on his outside. Barney the flag marshal gives him the wave. And Ryan gets a great start there with Kate Donnelly right in behind him and Adam Malone in behind him. Shannon Wright loses out badly on that one, drops back to about 5th place. So not a great start there from Shannon as he loses out to a couple of the Rogue and Simboys cars And Shannon, oh, yeah, there he is there, right next to Troy Davison, sitting in about 6th or 7th place. So at the moment, Ryan Andrews, Kate Donnelly, Adam Malone, Parry Anastakis, and Craig Roffey are your top 5. So Craig Roffey having a fairly decent run tonight, but as I said, it's early, so plenty of time for Craig to do what he needs to do. He's going to want to actually be at the pointy end of this one. Just barely missed out on a series podium from season 1, losing that third spot, I believe, to somebody else. I can't remember. Actually, no, I believe Craig did actually take 3rd. It was a tight battle for 2nd and 3rd in the championship between he and Jamie Nankervis, and Jamie managed to just get the edge on him on that one. But Craig Roffey, 3rd place for the Series 1 championship. He's going to want to improve upon that in the summer series. It's only 6 rounds, so we'll see what he can do with that while we take in the holiday festive season here in Australia. And that's why it's a 6-rounder and it's fortnightly rounds coming up to Christmas and New Year. But Series 2 next year is bound to be a very long one, and we'll be in the Gen 3 cars, as I've already stated. At the moment, Ryan Andrews back to 2nd as Kate Donnelly has taken the lead of this one. He's got a good lead over Craig Roffey and Ryan Andrews. Craig battling for 2nd position in this one, side by side with Ryan Andrews, who's down on the inside line at the moment. Shannon Wright battling up there for 4th or 5th. He's trying to stay in the top 5 at the moment. And I think on his outside is actually Troy Davison, who's got Brett Campbell actually in behind him. So Brett Campbell having a good run at the moment. Those couple of cautions have obviously done Brett a favour, and he's sitting up in around 6th spot at the moment. 3 wide there through the turn at the moment. Shannon Wright, Ryan Andrews and Troy Davison. But Ryan Andrews drops in behind Shannon Wright on that inside line as they come through that tri-oval. Oh, Shannon gets a little bit loose there in front of Ryan. Very easy to do coming through there. Very, very sudden left there as you come through the tri-oval. Very tricky spot. And as I said before the race, coming through that tri-oval, if you're on the inside, it's very easy to drift to the right towards the outside. And if you've got 1 or 2 cars on the outside, you've got to be real careful not to actually cause an incident. So we'll see how we go there at the moment with Shannon Wright, who's having a cracker battle, as Tony Roffey still continues to run about mid-pack there at the moment. And he's surrounded by a whole bunch of guys happy to continue doing what they're doing as we click over lap 39 of a possible 147. And we'll see what the boys can do with this as Brett Campbell makes life a little bit miserable for Ryan Andrews, moves up to 4th place and fills Ryan's mirrors with that yellow and black Quantum Motorsport car. And he's actually got his hands full with Shannon Wright there at the moment, as the other Everything Simulated car with Jared Williams is back further in the field, biding his time and waiting for the later stages of the race to make his move. But I believe everybody... no, actually, we've actually got a couple of guys who are displaying as being laps down. So that's interesting. Troy Mortensen down 2 laps, possibly from repairing damage. So we'll see if he can actually get the lucky dog and pull one of those laps back under a caution if we get another one. Lap 41 of a 75-minute race, a possible 147 laps at this point. And we'll see what we can actually do with this as the boys pretty much go single file down that back straight at the moment and into the turn, working their way around to complete another lap and click over lap 42 as they come into the tri-oval. Kate Donnelly continues to lead it with Craig Roffey up into 2nd place ahead of Troy Davison. And I believe that's looking to see who it is behind him. Ryan Andrews and then Brett Campbell in 5th. That rounds out your top 5. Derek Jacobs, who almost took the lead of this one off that last caution, then decided to actually pit, and that's pushed him back to about 11th position. Tony Roffey in behind him in 12th, then Scott McClintock, Jared Williams, and the boys continue to battle further back in the pack Aidan Schulz, after running at the front so strongly earlier on, all the way back in around about 20th position at the moment. So Luke Keamy up to 15th in the 166 car as well. So Luke's not having a bad run. And everybody up to around about 15th or 16th is actually on the lead lap at the moment, I believe. We'll just take a look at it at the moment on the scroll. And yes, the first car down is Michael Ladder in 19th. So I'm not quite sure what's happened to Michael there. As Kate Donnelly continues to lead this from Craig Roffey and Troy Davidson. So we've got Simboys, Rogue and Simboys as Craig Roffey makes his move on Kate Donnelly down the inside, takes the lead of round one for the Oz Oval Summer Series, brought to you by Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions and Quasi Esports, clicking over lap 44. So it's been an exciting one so far. 2 cautions, and both have involved 2 cars, the same 2 cars, the second one involving a third vehicle. But all 3 of those are out on track, so we'll see what the boys can do with the rest of this one. As Craig Roffey continues to lead from from Kate Donnelly and Troy Davidson and Ryan Andrews. Barry Neal has now taken 5th position side by side with Brett Campbell. So there's a good battle going on there for the back end of the top 5. Shannon Wright sits in around about 6th, but he's battling Perry Anastakis from Rogue Motorsport for that position. Adam Malone sits in behind, our pole sitter, and in behind him, Gary Wellman, our Series 1 champion. So it's all happening here at the moment. The boys have got it going on as we click over 46 laps of a 75-minute race. And so still plenty of time to go. We're looking at nearly 100 laps still to go on this 1.5 miler at Texas, as they come back through the tri-oval once again across the start-finish line. Craig Roffey continues to lead, but he's got Cade Donnelly all over the back of him and down onto the inside line. So Cade's going to make a move to try and take the lead here, but his Simboy's teammate Troy Davison, they're almost 3 cars wide as they battle for the lead of this one. But Troy's actually pulled back at the moment, and Cade takes the lead away from Craig Roffey, who slips back to 2nd. Ryan Andrews sitting just a nose ahead of Barry Neal, but they're side by side. There, Barry's got his nose in front and takes that 4th position away from Ryan. Ryan continues to follow Troy Davidson around that mid-track area with Brett Campbell and Shannon Wright in behind. Perry Anastakis in behind Shannon Wright there at the moment, and then Adam Malone, our pole sitter, as I said, just biding his time at the moment. There's quite a lot of positional changes going on here, and there's a fair old gap as Craig Roffey mounts another challenge to Cade Donnelly for the lead of this one. And then there's Barry Neal, Troy Davison and Ryan Andrews closing the gap to those front 2 cars. So this is really a Simboys Rogue battle here at the moment. And Ryan Andrews trying to be the spoiler in all this, with Brett Campbell pretty keen to get his nose back up front there inside the top 5. Shannon Wright still continues to follow Brett Campbell around at the moment. Troy Davison goes to the outside with Craig Roffey moving to the mid-track and then outside to cut off that avenue for Troy Davidson. As Cade Donnelly continues to lead, he's got Barry Neal right in behind him in the 022 Ayatura vehicle, the New Zealand Mustang, with Ryan Andrews now pushing inside the top 5 for a 3rd or 4th spot, and they are 2 by 2 inside that top 5 with Cade Donnelly on his lonesome out the front, as Craig Roffey continues to battle with Barry Neal for 2nd spot, but Barry gets his nose in front on that inside line at the moment. And they're catching up to who I believe is Aidan Schulz at the moment, is it? No? Yes, it is. It's the 52 Quantum car. So Aidan about to go another lap down. I thought he was actually still on the lead lap, so this may be his first lap down. We're just going to take a look at the marquee as it scrolls through and see exactly where Aidan is situated at the moment. But he's back in around 20th position. I can see him in 18th there at the moment on lead lap, but he's got the leaders, the race leaders, that pack right behind him, and they're all working together, so they'll have the benefit of the draft. It's going to be interesting to see what Aidan does here. He goes to the outside and makes room for the racers at the front of the field. So Kate Donnelly down to the low line in front of Barry Neal, and there's Craig Roffey. He's actually moved back to the outside now in front of Aidan Schulz, with Ryan Andrews battling Craig Roffey side by side for third position as Barry Neal tries to mount a challenge on Kate Donnelly for the lead of this race. Some fantastic racing here at the moment, and just a couple of little mishaps with guys fighting over the same piece of real estate. Other than that, we've had a really great race here. 54 laps. It's been some fantastic racing. A lot of side-by-side stuff here. The boys are giving a bit of racing room. And Ryan Andrews now up to third ahead of Troy Davidson. Sorry, I keep mispronouncing that, Troy. And Craig Roffey on the far outside. Now, Craig seems to be losing a little bit of ground to Troy Davidson there. He's got Brett Campbell in behind him. So that outside line not really working the way that it should. And definitely that mid-track down to the inside line seems to be where the pace is at the moment going through those turns. But as they come back around through the tri-oval and up the back straight through the turn there, Craig Roffey continues to persevere with that outside line, but he's holding down a top 5 position. So he knows what he's about, and he knows what he wants out of this race. So he's got Ryan Andrews on the inside. So Craig Roffey gets his nose in front for third position, but he's battling Troy Davison and Ryan Andrews at the moment. So a really great battle there, as well as the one in front of him. That's Barry Neal fighting Kate Donnelly for first position, but Kate gets the better run out into the turn there, and puts a car length on Barry Neal, both on the inside line. So fantastic stuff as Barry drops down to mid-track, tries to make a move, and he challenges Kate for the lead, and I think he's going to take it. Yes, he does on that inside line. Barry Neal goes back to the lead of this one. Kate Donnelly all over the back of that 022 Ayatora Mustang, with Craig Roffey coming around the outside in third position. So Troy Davison and Ryan Andrews fighting for fourth and fifth place there at the moment. But Barry Neal holding down that position. He's got Craig Roffey on the outside, side by side with him, as Craig mounts a challenge for the lead of this race now. This is fantastic stuff. To barely keep up with this. Troy Davidson in there as well. This top 5, top 6 battle is just excellent stuff. The boys really putting on a great show. So give this a like. If you're watching out there and you're enjoying the racing, give it a like. Let the boys know that you're enjoying what they're doing. And Troy Davison just managing to run around the outside between Craig Roffey, but it's still Barry Neal in command of this one. They're almost 3 wide in second place there at the moment. Craig Roffey, Kate Donnelly and Ryan Andrews, but Ryan's now dropped back a spot. Troy Davidson now continues to battle inside the top 5 with Brett Campbell knocking on the door there at the moment, side by side with Ryan Andrews, as Adam Malone and Shannon Wright now come back into the picture. And they've got Parry Anastakis with them from Rogue Motorsport. So there's some fantastic racing going on here at the moment. These boys really pushing it as we click over lap 60 of a possible 145 in this 75-minute race. So we are nearly getting to the halfway mark of this one. And it's going to be really interesting to see what the boys can do with this. It's about 30 laps since I think they last, or actually probably about 20 laps since they last pitted. So 10 to 15 laps, we'll start seeing some cars coming in for some fuel and probably tyres at this point. If anybody who didn't actually change their tyres on either of the yellow periods that we had, obviously going to be looking at doing it this time around. So lap 61, and we've still got Craig Roffey and Barry Neal fighting at the front there, with Kate Donnelly right in behind, Troy Davidson and Shannon Wright, Brett Campbell, Adam Malone, Parry Anastakis, Gary Wellman, and Derek Jacobs puts his hand up there saying, you don't forget me, I'm here too, guys, I want a piece of this. And we're 4 wide now down through the turn as the boys really want a piece of this top 5. And we're going to go 4 wide again, are we? No, Shannon actually pulls it back a little bit. Oh, Brett Campbell and Ryan Andrews come together. What a shame. What an absolute disaster, that one. That is a lot of damage on that 015 car for Brett Campbell. We'll take a look at what's happened here. Ryan got a little bit loose. Shannon Wright's come in. Ryan's actually tried to give him race room as Brett Campbell's moved down the track a bit, and there just wasn't quite enough space there to pull it off. And Ryan's actually come together with Shannon Wright, who's spun across the front of him and collected Brett Campbell. But the lucky man out of all that, and Aidan Chills with nowhere to go as Shannon Wright tries to drive it down the track and off out of the way. And Rick Vincent also will be wishing that his luck continues like that did, because that was very, very close for Rick Vincent, almost actually cleaning up Shannon Wright there as Shannon was trying to get out of the way of the oncoming vehicles. So we go back to caution on lap 63, and I think the entire field is in. A couple of those boys are going to be trying to repair as much damage as they can after their third caution of 63 laps. And we're going to actually talk about an event that's coming up at the moment while we're under caution. And if we can get the slide up, I'm going to tell you all about what's happening. Is that a no? Up, she's up, is she? Okay, I'm not seeing it. Okay, no worries. All right, the Bathurst Clash. This is happening on December the 7th, Australian time, December the 6th for our American participants at Mount Panorama, 12 noon on December the 7th in Australia, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, December 6th in the US. It's the next Gen Cup car, the Gen 7, 61 laps with stage breaks and a top 10 shootout at Mount Panorama, Bathurst. That's going to be very interesting. Believe me, the boys have been practicing, and they're starting to knock those times down very substantially. Prize pool is $50 for first, 30 for second, 20 for third, and that will go up with the number of entries once it goes up after 10 entries have actually registered and paid their money. Open setups, got to have a 1.5K I rating. 44 pit stalls. There'll be a request to tow, 6 sets of tyres, 1 green-white checker, and live race control. Sponsored by Everything Simulated, Team Watson Racing Setups, Inside Lane Productions, Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing, and hosted by the iRacing Stock Car Association, ISCA. Coming up on the December 6th US, December 7th in Australia. That is going to be a fantastic race. If you like your chances around Bathurst and you can handle a Gen 7 NASCAR, get your money in. The entry fee is $750 US, so a little bit over $10 for Australians. I think at the moment that's around about $11 or $12. So, and yeah, $750 US, and so get your entries in for that one. And December 7th. I'm not sure when the entries actually close, but they are open at the moment. And good day to Todd Maxfield in the live chat there on YouTube, shouting on his teammates from Simboys. Todd unable to make it on the track tonight. But, yeah, keep that in mind. We'll mention that again later on in the broadcast. Fantastic racing that will be. Around the best track in Australia and one of the best tracks in the world. As we go back to what's happening on track here at the moment, and the lights are out on the pace car. Craig Roffey will have control of this one with Adam Malone on the outside. So our pole sitter sitting second at the moment, and our third place getter in Series 1, Craig Roffey, will lead them away once the pace car pulls out and Barney, the flag marshal, gives them the wave. So it'll be interesting to see what Craig can do with this if he gets a good start. Adam Malone's known for getting good starts off restarts. So we'll see what happens with this. Gary Wellman hanging right to the back there at the moment. Quite happy to be where he is. as we go green on lap 65, clicking over to 66. I believe we are. Nope, we are clicking over to 65. And the pace car will pull off here very shortly, and Craig Roffey will lead them away across the start-finish line, which is where we will click over lap 66. Kay Donnelly and Troy Davidson in the second row. Derek Jacobs and Parry Anastakis on the third row. Adam gives us another blink in the number 3 Southern Stars Mish's garage car. And there goes the green flag wave. Craig gets a great start. Adam goes with him, and Kay Donnelly gets a good one too. Good start from those front 3 cars. As Craig absolutely gets a flyer down on that inside line. And Adam Malone now dropping back a couple of spots as Troy Davidson comes into the picture. So Kay Donnelly takes second away from Adam Malone, and Troy Davidson down the inside takes third, pushes Adam Malone back to 4th position. And the battle between Derek Jacobs and Parry Anastakis for the next position there, with Tony Roffey in behind, just keeping an eye on what's happening in front of him and letting the boys battle it out before he makes his move. But Craig Roffey continues to lead this now, and he's going to want to. He's got a bit of a point to prove. He missed a couple of rounds, and it cost him a much better finish in Series 1. So I expect Craig will be chomping at the bit to actually get some wins in this one and take the Summer Series. As we take a look at, I think it's Adamson John there in the yellow full bore car, and about mid-pack, side by side with Gary Wellman, Rick Vincent in behind them. So great to see Rick still in this one after being involved in a couple of little coming togethers. And looks like we've got Barry Neal towards the back of the field there at the moment. So that's interesting to see Barry back that far, but obviously something to do with the pit stop that he made. As Rick Vincent gets a little bit loose, starts to move down the track and realises Adamson John is actually there. So overcorrects that a little bit, gets the wiggles up. Parry follows Tony Roffey, who's made his way past Parry Anastakis, his teammate now. And Rick Vincent, Parry Anastakis. So we've got 3 road cars there. They probably will start to work together here to get towards the front of the field. If they can just get nose to tail. They've got Gary Wellman on the outside in that 45 Simboys car, and Ryan Andrews, after getting some damage sorted out, is sitting in 12th place but still on the lead lap. And back to 15th place, I think Troy Mortensen is the first man down a lap. So he'll be hoping for something good to happen and improve his position as we click over lap 70, just about the halfway mark in this one. 75 minutes, an estimated 145 laps, lap 71. And this is the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series, Summer Series 2024-25. As we've got Craig Roffey continues to lead this from Kay Donnelly, Troy Davidson, and then Adam Malone in front of Derek Jacobs up to 5th position at the moment in the number 27 Inside Lane Productions Mustang. So Craig Roffey battling with Cade Donnelly there at the moment. Cade's getting pretty close there. They're running fairly close to the same line, but Craig's actually decided to stay mid-track there at the moment, and Cade's running down on the low line. So, but come back to the outside behind Craig Roffey, so no advantage from the low line there for Cade Donnelly. As Barry Neal moves up a couple of more spots, he's side by side with Gary Wellman now, and battling for that position with Rick Vincent in behind them. So Rick, who was actually at the pointy end of the field earlier, is back in the field somewhat, but after a couple of small incidents, I think he had a little bit of damage to sort out, so that's pushed him back in the order. But long way to go. We're only about halfway there at the moment at Texas Motor Speedway. And we are going to take a short ad break and honor some sponsors at the moment while these boys battle it out. They're pretty much single file here at the moment, all the way through the field, and about the top 14 or 15 cars still on the lead lap. We'll be back in a moment. Stick around.
You went You served and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallenVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallenVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallenVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallenVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway as we go to lap 78 in a 75-minute race, a possible 145 laps in round one of the Summer Series for 2024-25 for Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League. And the boys are happy about being in on this one. And this is brought to you by Everything Simulated and Inside Lane Productions, as well as streaming exclusively through Quasi Esports YouTube channel. And if you're out there and in the live chat, give us your thoughts on how the race is going so far. Luke Keamy, who is actually in the race at the moment, and Todd Maxfield, both commenting in the live chat as we take a look out the back wing of, I think that is Kate Donnelly's car. And Kate is back in the lead of this one with Barry Neal in behind him, Craig Roffey on the outside in third position, Troy Davidson back to fourth, and Adam Malone rounding out the top five. And he's got Series 1 champion Gary Wellman all over the back of him in that sixth position. And now they actually stagger across the track there at the moment. They're a bit spread out, so pretty safe to say that those guys are pretty safe there at the moment, as the cars behind them are all racing almost side by side for the minor positions there in the top 10 at the moment as they come through the tri-oval at Texas Motor Speedway across the start-finish line to click over for lap 82. And I believe we're going to have a special guest who's been a bit of a victim of a couple of incidents tonight. Aidan Schulz is going to join us in the commentary booth in just a moment. And I'll give him a shout in a minute just to see if he's ready, because I know he's in the middle of something there at the moment, sorting out a headset issue. So I'll call him in just a minute, and we'll get Aidan's thoughts on this race at the moment so far. But Kate Donnelly continues to lead this from Barry Neal and Craig Roffey. Gary Wellman in behind Troy Davidson there at the moment, alongside Adam Malone battling for the back of that top five. Rick Vincent up into sixth position at the moment with his teammate Parry and Astarkis behind him. And in front of Rick Vincent is Tony Roffey, also from Rogue Motorsport. So you've got the 3 Rogue cars there, and Craig Roffey sitting up the front in 3rd position. And you're with us there, Aidan. Nope, still sorting out his headset. That's fine.
I've got you, mate. I've got you.
He's here. Okay, so Aidan, how you going there, mate? A bit of a shame to see you go out that way.
That's all right, mate. It's all good. My crew chief wasn't working the best tonight, so I had a couple of incidents earlier with just obviously a new series or whatever. It's good, actually, forget about the incident. It was just good to get behind the wheel and to be able to run, because usually I'm commentating. So let's focus on the racing right now and not what happened there. And it's all good. Back up in the booth with you, mate. Let's bring it home.
Yep, not a problem at all. Lap 85 of a possible 146 in a 75-minute race. So we're well past the halfway mark in this one as Barry Neal continues to battle Cade Donnelly for that lead. But he's just not quite able to get his nose up there as Cade moves back down onto the inside line. And Craig Roffey basically hung out to dry on the outside there at the moment. As the boys seem to be sort of moving in front of him, I suppose is one way to put it. Craig just doesn't seem to have the pace on that outside. That midline, even to the outside there, just doesn't seem to be working very well tonight. How did you find that side of things, Aidan, that outside line? Does that seem to have a bit of speed in it or not?
It's interesting you say that, to be honest. A very tight setup tonight around Texas, so the cars really wanted to push. You can see a lot of steering input there by Cade Donnelly out of turn number 1 and 2. So a lot of draft as well. Barry Neal from starting at the back, he's going to make his way forward again. He did this early in the first stint as well. So, it's definitely not going to end the way it is at the moment. The car's driving very tight. You don't need to overdrive it, but at the same time, the draft's a big thing as well. So teammates are going to play a big part in this. Is the Roffey on the outside. You've got the Thin Boys. Well, Cade Donnelly a little bit stuck on the outside there of Barry Neal and Gary Wellman, and then Adam Malone right in behind that as well, and then another Road Sim Sports car that might be Paranistakis in behind as well. So a long way to go still, 88 into 145. I wish I was there. It was my fault. I didn't give enough room on the outside there and got into an incident with a fellow driver, and they decided to pay that back, and that was my night. But that's okay. We've got a memory, and the boys are doing a great job at the front at the moment. So still a long way to go, and Barry Neal all over the back of Cade Donnelly. Cade's always shown a lot of pace in this car though, Steve, as well. So no surprise to see him at the front, and Troy Davidson and Gary Wellman sitting there in 3rd and 5th on track at the moment. Gary Wellman, your reigning Season 1 champion, up in the top 5 as well, so he'll be there at the back end, but a long way to go, and there's a couple of guys in the back that are getting really juicy, and they're going to have a part of this as Barry Neal and Cade Donnelly go side by side down through the tri-oval here at Texas.
Well, Derek Jacobs has poked his nose into the top 5 more than once tonight, and but he's back fit further in the field at the moment as we click over lap 90 of a possible 145. Tony Roffey sitting in, I just think Tony's sitting 6th side by side with Adam Malone at the moment, and behind Adam is Ryan Andrews, who's had a couple of minor incidents tonight, but still out there and battling, sitting in about 7th or 8th spot. And then Paranistakis, Rick Vincent, and I think that actually might be Jared Williams in that other everything simulated vehicle at the back there, trying to spot where Shannon Wright is at the moment, sitting in 16th position. He's up a bit further back there at the moment, one of the stragglers, and he appears to be pitting, so he might be having some tyre issues. That's what I wanted to ask you. That first caution came on about lap 30. How did you find the tyre wear when you came back out of the pits?
I mean, you got me with a mouthful of food, but generally it was really bad. So 5 or 6 laps, you were down to about 85% of the front right. So car getting very tight and just trying to navigate through it. So cars into pit lane now, 92 into 145. Draft is a big thing as well, but it's who wants to work with people, and you saw that early in the stint. So I misjudged on the outside there, and unfortunately got into the inside of the car on the outside, and he didn't like that and decided he wanted to repay the favour and ruin everyone's race. but that's okay. But these guys are doing a great job at the moment. They can go 2-3 wide, and we're seeing that at the moment. So you see Rocky on the outside, just that second car back on the outside road. He's really trying to navigate that high line on entry and then narrow up the corner to get run off the exit of 3 and 4 down here at Texas. So he's really trying to stay on that outside line. At the moment, Barry Neal, he did that in the first stint when I was racing him for the lead. He really liked that inside line, but the right-hand front tyres really did play out as well as we see a car come out of pit lane. It's not only the right-hand front, it's the inside rear. It really lights up and gets really loose here in the cars around an oval. So at the moment, we'll see as they're coming up on the lap car here, 94 and 145, Barry Neal still leading the way over Donnelly, Davidson, and Roffey of 4. But I tell you what, it's not going to end the way it is at the moment, Steve. These guys are racing really hard at the front.
Well, that's Luke Coomey that actually came out of the pits. He pitted while we were discussing the tyre wear after Shannon Wright went in also. And as we noticed on one of those shots there, Craig Roffey a little bit too close to the wall, gave it just a bit of a kiss, but didn't seem to affect him or wash off a whole lot of speed. But he's actually losing out this battle for fourth position to Adam Malone at the moment. So Craig Roffey back to 5th. So the leader of this one, Barry Neal from Kay Donnelly, Troy Davidson, Adam Malone and Craig Roffey. And in behind them is Parry Anastakis and Gary Wellman. So a lot going on here at the moment towards the back half of this field.
Yeah, you know who I'd like to be at the moment? The Everything Simulated car just in the back end of this battle for the front. So you've seen Barry Neal after not qualifying and making his way to the front, and he did that on purpose. We've raced around him for years. He's done it on purpose, and he's got some pace, but he's not going to have it his own way. You've got the sim boys that are really good in this type of discipline in the supercars on oval. You've got the road guys, don't write them off, as well as Kay Donnelly. Big dive down the inside for the lead of the motor race over Kay Donnelly, and he's going to try and get that job done through 3 and 4 here at Texas, and he's going to off turn number 4. So now we've got a new leader, just a new leader of Kay Donnelly, down into 1 and 2 here at Texas, and it's sim boys versus Aotearoa Racing and versus the road boys, and then we also do have the other guys in the background, and don't write them off. We've got Adam Malone as well. I'm excited to see where he's going to be. He's always there or thereabouts, but also in the background as well, about 8th or 9th deep in this pack. Don't write him off, he's saving his tyres. We've got another pit stop to go. We're a 98 into 145 here around Texas Motor Speedway. Kay Donnelly leading the way. Barry Neal not letting him have it his own way as he holds on the outside. And Troy Davidson in the 23 just trying to play a part of this battle as well, as Adam Malone wants to be a part of this as well, as we go 3 wide down the back straight here at Texas.
Yeah, and Luke Coomey's done a fantastic job of actually getting clear of these race leaders so that he doesn't go down another lap as Neal and Donnelly continue to battle side by side for this one, with Troy Davidson in behind just to keep them honest, and Adam Malone sitting in 4th from Craig Roffey there at the moment, rounding out the top 5, as we see a couple of other road cars in there. Tony Roffey and Parry Anastakis battling with Ryan Andrews at the moment, and then I think that's Shannon Wright in behind them in the Everything Simulated 023 as we watch. There's a fair old gap back to the rest of the field. The stragglers at the moment seem to be sort of just hanging around the back there at the moment, but the first 14 cars of this still on the lead lap. From 15th back are the first lapped cars, but Luke done a fantastic job, just when it looked like he was going to get swallowed up. But there's Gary Wellman all over the back of Craig Roffey at the moment, and they're really bunching up there at the front with Barry Neal and Kate Donnelly very close to one another. And then you've got about another 4 or 5 cars you can throw a blanket over.
Yeah, Shannon Wright doing a really good job tonight as well. If we just reference him, I know we're at the front of the motor race, but you can see Shannon Wright and the Everything Simulated and the sponsor of the series just in the back end of this group at the moment. He's just managing his tyres, and it's really easy to keep on the back of the train if you've got a really nice car without damage. So he's just sitting there at the moment. Anything else can happen, but they're fighting really hard at the front. Barry Neal tried to take the lead of the race at the moment. We did see earlier Cade Donnelly decide to lead it, and Barry goes, no, I'm going to lead it as well. And that's Cade Donnelly in the 41, right in behind Barry Neal into 1 and 2 here at Texas. But the road car on the outside there of Roffey, he's wanted to make a run. He's actually sat there for the last 20 laps, and it hasn't really suited him at the moment. But the longer that this stint goes on, he's been able to create a lot of speed on that outside. Now he takes the lead over the motor race. And Gary Wellman's seen that and moved himself up into the mid lane of the racetrack. So down in through the tri-oval here, 103 and 145. It's now Roffey to lead the way. Gary Wellman just seeing what he did previously. And Cade Donnelly, Barry Neal still wanting to really try that inside line. From racing earlier, I'm not sure whether that's going to be fast late on, but Barry Neal, a great driver, and he'll definitely get everything out of that Ateora car as he still leads the way out of turn number 3 and 4 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Gary Wellman on the outside in the 45. We're still too wide. We've got the American Orion third back on the outside, and Troy Davidson on the inside as well. They're not really breaking up here, Steve. It's still going on, and Shannon Wright just sitting in behind watching this all unfold and ready to pounce whenever it happens.
Well, that car at the back of the top 10 there is in fact Scott McClintock in the 016 car. So he's having a good run here at the moment, just watching what's happening in front of him as we see Craig Roffey battling side by side, trying to take the lead back off Barry Neal. Craig Roffey, Barry Neal, Cade Donnelly, Gary Wellman, all at the front there with Ryan Andrews in the 74 Mustang and Troy Davidson with Adam Malone in behind Troy Davidson. Tony Roffey side by side with Adam Malone at the moment, and then Scott McClintock in the 016 car. So apologies to Scott for not realising that's who it was back there. The red and black car sort of threw me off there for a minute. As we continue to watch these battles, Ryan Andrews gets up inside the top 5 there, side by side with Troy Davidson. But Craig Roffey has the lead of this one over Barry Neal. Barry's battling back on the inside line, and Cade Donnelly's and sitting in behind them in that Simboys number 41 with Gary Wellman side by side with him. So a really good stoush here at the moment. A lot of lead changes. Barry Neal gets back in front again and takes Cade Donnelly with him as Craig Roffey again loses out on that outside line. So I've got a feeling that right front might be suffering a bit at the moment as Adam Malone pulls into the pits in the number 3 Southern Stars Mish's Garage car, as we see Troy Mortensen, his vehicle still sitting in the pits there. So it looks like his race is run. He's been sat there for quite some time after that incident earlier on. So he must have copped a little bit more damage than I expected, and has been unable to continue on. So Adam Malone, he'll take tyres, he'll fill it up with fuel and get back out there again as we click over lap 109 of a possible 144, and we get the leaders all coming in here at the moment. We've got Craig Roffey, Gary Wellman, Tony Roffey, that's Cade Donnelly there as well. So obviously fuel is an issue, possibly tyres as well. So you'll see these guys, anybody who's still got a set of tyres up their sleeve will probably throw them on at this point as Ryan Andrews now takes the lead of this race while everybody else is pitting ahead of Troy Davidson. But you see Troy Davidson and Scott McClintock, second and third, pulling in there at the moment. Tony Roffey's coming up as being fourth with Rick Vincent in fifth. So Ryan Andrews making the most of this to see what he can achieve out of this before he actually needs to pit again. As we go to lap 110. It's a 75-minute, and Ryan Andrews now, as he takes over the race lead, manages to bring it just down by a little bit of a brake lock-up coming into the pits, and he'll surrender the lead of this race. Adam Malone back out on track there at the moment, and it's very interesting to see the way these positions are shuffling up as we see Troy Davidson coming back out on track while we watch Adam Malone in the number 3 Southern Stars car. And it's got to sort itself out in just a moment. It's got Adam up into second place, but Ryan Andrews coming up as in leader of this race is sitting in the pits at the moment. So it's going to obviously fall to Adam Malone to lead this one from Rick Vincent, Troy Davidson and Tony Roffey. As Ryan Andrews begins to drop back through the field, Craig Roffey takes 5th position. As we continue to watch these guys, Adam Malone with a fair old gap over Rick Vincent, who's got a bit of a gap over Troy Davidson. And lap 111 of 144. We're going to take a quick break, honour some sponsors, and we'll be back in just a moment. Stick around.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway for the Oz Oval Summer Series 2024-25, brought to you by Everything Simulated Inside Lane Productions and Quasi Esports, streaming exclusively through YouTube as we watch the battle between Troy Davidson and Adam Malone. And Troy's managed to take the lead away from him. We're inside about the last 8 or 9 minutes of this timed race. It says 117 of 149. That's not going to happen. We've probably got about 5 or 6 laps left in this one, or about 10 laps left in this one, and the boys are really battling there at the front. But then there's a huge gap back to Craig Roffey in 3rd place, then Tony Roffey and Rick Vincent. So that's a rogue 3, 4, 5 in this top 5 at the moment. But you can see the visible gap there between 2nd and 3rd, and then another gap back from 3rd to 4th as we wait to see what the Sim Boys are going to do in response to what's happening out there. Sim Boy leads this one from a Southern Stars number 3 car of Adam Malone, and then we've got Craig Roffey in 3rd position as we come into the closing stages of this one. And I think that last pit stop might have actually made a real difference to the charge by some of these guys. But we'll see how we go. We've got Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman there in front of Rick Vincent with Barry Neal, and then in front of him, he's now side by side with Tony Roffey, as these guys are battling for the minor positions, but there's still enough time for them. If their tyres are fresh enough, they can still catch these 3, 4 guys at the front, and it's going to be interesting to see what Barry Neal can do. These guys all pitted just a couple of laps ago, so they've got some fairly fresh rubber on board. And Adam Malone has got about another 2 or 3 laps on his. And as you heard earlier, this has been very tough on that right front, which I expected. That's why I threw an extra set of tyres at this one, so they had 4 sets. So it'll be interesting to see how this comes around in these closing stages, lap 121. And Barry Neal still pursuing the front markers there at the moment, who are Troy Davidson, Adam Malone and Craig Roffey. Barry Neal up into 4th with Gary Wellman in 5th, and then Cade Donnelly, Tony Roffey and Rick Vincent. As we take a look at the rest of the field behind them, we take a look at Tony Roffey, Rick Vincent, then Ryan Andrews. So Derek Jacobs 4 laps down, but believe he's still circulating. There's Ryan and Shannon Wright there at the moment, with Jared Williams also and Scott McClintock in that Mobile 1016 car. So some great battles going on back here at the moment as Shannon Wright goes to make a move on Ryan Andrews, I believe that was. So it's fantastic racing there at the moment. Ryan's doing really well in this one. Shannon's having a good run, but he's a few laps down, Aidan.
Yeah, doing a good job. It's been a race of different stories at the moment. You've seen Gary Wellman and Troy Davidson at the front. They've done a great job. There was obviously stuff that happened through the pit stop there, and different strategies for the likes of Gary Wellman, not Gary Wellman, for the likes of Adam Malone and Troy Davidson really create a bit of a lead in this race. At the moment, Barry Neal in the fight for the minors. This is the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th on the racetrack. If they keep doing this, they're not going to catch the front as well. So Barry and these guys probably made a little bit of an incident, or probably made a little bit of an issue through their pit stop, because the guys at the front have really put a gap on. But what they then as well, and what we saw Adam Malone do as we're back on board now, is Roffey's got right up onto the back of Adam Malone. So now it's a battle for 1, 2 and 3 between Davidson, Malone and Roffey. We saw Malone come through pit lane just a couple of laps earlier, and these cars, you can go really quick for 2 laps and then it drops off. So then Troy Davidson utilised that when he pitted a couple of laps later. That allowed him to range right up onto the back of Adam Malone and take the lead of the motor race. And now we're seeing the reverse effect of that with Roffey pitting a couple of laps later, just holding that car through the midline, which I've seen that and I've said that since I've been in the broadcast booth. He's been really consistent to hold that line, and it's not necessarily the quickest, but over a long run, he's doing a great job and being able to hold that mid-corner speed. So Adam Malone and Troy Davidson at the moment, don't keep your eyes off the rear vision mirror, because you got Craig Roffey all over the back of you at the moment, and he's going to be ready to pounce any minute. So don't worry about the battle between Troy Davidson and Adam Malone at the front. It's all about Roffey. He's through the midline there. He gets a good run off. He'll select 6th gear possibly here, just to create a little bit of compression lock when he goes down the 5th here, and he's going to hold that midline. So he's just going to keep persisting with that, Steve, and he's going to be here at the end of this one. It's between the 3. It's between Davidson, Malone and Roffey. Neal, Donnelly and the rest, they're fighting for the minors. This is the battle for the top 3 here tonight for round number 1 at Texas.
As they come up on Luke Keamy, who did such a fantastic job to clear the race leaders earlier, just when it looked like he was going to be lapped. But because he had a much earlier pit stop, I'd say Luke has actually run his tyres ragged at the moment, and a severe lack of speed has actually left him in a position where those front 3 cars are now actually past him, and they've put him a lap down. So unfortunate for Luke. It's obviously tough on tyres out there at the moment, and he's very, very old compared to those guys who have just now lapped him. So Troy Davidson continues, and Craig Roffey all over.
Down into 3 and 4.
Fantastic move, from Craig Roffey. He'll take the lead in this one, and Adam Malone goes with him. Troy Davidson hung up on the outside, so it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. That inside line's going to have a little bit of an advantage, But Troy Davidson not giving this one up too easily. Adam Malone now fighting side by side. They're basically three wide coming through the turn, and now sort himself out with Craig Roffey on the outside in front of Troy Davidson, and Adam Malone holding that inside line, and side by side now with Craig Roffey, who's trying to get enough speed to get his nose in front of Adam Malone. So a fantastic battle at the front here with Troy Davidson sitting in third. And if those boys are actually far enough apart, I think Troy Davidson's actually going to try and slip down through the middle.
He'll try to do that, but you can see that arrow, Rosh, how hard it was to rotate that Tim Boys car through turns number 1 and 2. He's going to settle in behind Adam Malone down into 3 and 4 this time. And that usual line by Roffey, that mid-line, he's going to try carry that mid-corner speed, as Adam Malone's going to struggle to keep that car rotated. And we're going across the line, and it's going to be Craig Roffey taking the win. That's the finish.
That's
and
it.
Craig Roffey, 0.014 over Adam Malone and Troy Davidson with under a tenth of a second between the top three. So you could see there what Craig Roffey was doing. He really knew that it struggled to rotate the car through the centre when you were low, and Adam Malone just needed to blip that throttle for a second to stop himself getting up into the outside or onto the inside of Craig Roffey. And Craig Roffey, coming from third from a well back into the fight for the win of this race, takes the win, and no surprise from the Rogue Sim Sports guy to be up the front, because he does well in these cars. And what a race here from Texas, mate. Craig Roffey, the winner.
Fantastic night of racing with Craig Roffey taking the honours and getting the chocolates in this one. He's going to do a winner's burnout here. He loves doing this stuff, and he hasn't had much of a chance lately. But 39 lead changes on that overlay, 39 lead changes. Over 75 minutes. That is just incredible. The amount of back and forward in this race. The boys really put on a fantastic show. And so if you're watching out there, give it a like. The boys really put on a fantastic show tonight. And Craig Roffey over Troy Davidson and Adam Malone in second and third. And yeah, look, that's going to be great. We are going to take a look at the provisional standings for this one. And we've got Craig Roffey in the winner's circle from Adam Malone in second, Troy Davidson third. Barry Neal brought it home fourth in the end, with Kate Donnelly rounding out the top five. Gary Wellman sixth, Rick Vincent seventh, Tony Roffey eighth, Scott McClintock inside the top 10 in ninth, and Parry Anastakis rounds out your top 10 in 10th position in the 144 car.
Into 11th position, Luke Keamy coming home in 11th tonight. Adam St. John in 12th. Ryan Andrews with a strong showing in the latter parts of that one, Steve. Unfortunately coming home, not unfortunately, but 13th position tonight for the 74 out of the United States of America. Jared Williams coming home in 14th. Derek Jacobs out of the USA in 15th. Shannon Wright in 16th. Your series sponsor, Michael Ladder, 17th. Brett Campbell in 18th. Myself, we won't talk about that, in 19th. And Troy Mortensen with a night he'd like to forget to in 20th. And Tristan Koch, 132 laps down in the 550 in 21st.
Yeah, Tristo didn't have much of a run tonight. I didn't see him in any incidents, but it may have been an issue at his end, or he may have just had something he had to race off and do, but that's okay. It's unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen Tristo have much more of a good run there, but that's the way it goes. We're going to take a very quick ad break at the moment while we sort out our podium, and then we'll be back with some post-race interviews. Back in a minute.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, everything simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family and let's race towards the future.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here for the Oz Oval Series, round number 1 of the Summer Series, here from Texas Motor Speedway, brought to you here on all the platforms of Quasi Esports. We've got our top 3 place getters here tonight in the broadcast booth, and I'll start off with your P number 3 tonight. Troy Davison, good evening to you, mate. A good strategy there. You took the lead over Adam Malone, and then Adam got it back, and then Craig come back at the end. But what a race for the top 3.
Yeah, mate, it's a great race. It's awesome to be back, and yeah, what a race to start off with. But I think with the timed race, it threw a few curveballs for us all. We're all just trying to adjust the strategy and what to do, but I think we mostly worked it out towards the end.
They did. No surprise to see you at the front tonight, but a little bit of an insight for people that do want to get a part of the season next season, because this is just the Summer Series, and what is the hype up for the season before we have the Gen 3s released, which we're all excited about with the new supercar in 2025. But a little bit of a different race. We had some a good field tonight, and the car was a little bit tight in my opinion, albeit I didn't have a good race. I'm not making it about my race, whatever, but the car was a little bit tight, and it was all about managing the tyres, and I think managing where you position your car, and especially in the draft I found like it, and I'm trying to get your opinion here, I found it got a little bit tight and you really had to back off and underdrive the car. What did you feel it was like?
Yeah, I think 1 and 2 you definitely had to get it turned in early, and then 3 and 4 wasn't too bad, but you could run, I don't know, I sort of found the high line you could run up there and maintain pace, but it was just hard to get a move done. I think the moves were down low, but it was 1 and 2 was tricky, but I sort of just found that inside line was working best for me, especially if I wanted to sort of make moves. But outside was good. I just couldn't really get the pace up there.
Yeah, it was funny you say that, because through 3 and 4, when I was in there in the early doors, I was backing off through 3 and 4 and losing a lot of time. But 1 and 2, a lot of you guys were running really, really hard and trying to really like manage that race, and to be able to, and in these cars, and you've done it for many, many years, it's not necessarily you can be back in 15th or 16th and still win the race. Like, it's all just managing your race. So back in the supercar, but without sort of wanting to talk too much about this model of supercar, I do want to talk to you a little bit about the new supercar. I know it hasn't been released on iRacing, and we don't know what we got, but it's going to be a different world of racing. Do you think it's going to create the similar racing what we've seen in the Gen 2 supercar across to the Gen 3?
Yeah, no, looking forward to it. I think everyone's sort of super pumped on it, aren't they? And see what it brings. It'll be interesting because I think in the real life it's got a lot less downforce than this one we're currently racing. So I think that's a significant difference between this and the NASCARs, the downforce, from what I sort of know. But so yeah, that'll be interesting whether it behaves more like this gen or whether it's more like a NASCAR sort of feel. But yeah, it won't be long. We'll be finding out, I think, by the sounds of it.
Well, what I'm excited about is we've done a lot of racing through the road thing in different leagues and stuff in this car, and had some mega battles. But what I'm excited about is how that transforms rather through the road sector, because obviously the supercars on the oval is not usually what we see, but it's great racing, and that's why we all navigate towards it. So for me personally, that's what I'm interested to see what happens. But mate, it's been a little bit of time between drinks, coming off obviously Gary winning season number 1. You guys are always up the front here in this car in the oval series. This is just the summer series. It's like the prelude to the big thing. When we go back in January or February rather next year, it's going to be totally different. So Sim Boys against Rogue, against Quantum, against all those guys, you ready to get in amongst the battle and see if you guys can get another championship?
Yeah, can't wait, mate. I was just couldn't wait for this one to come around. It's sort of been a little while between drinks, so I don't know. It's for me, I think I've said it before, but it's some of the funnest racing I have on iRacing is this supercar oval series. It doesn't matter what you do, where you go, it just seems to always produce good racing. So that's what we all do it for, isn't it? So yeah.
100%, mate, and pure gentleman, and race the way you want to be raced. So good to see you up there in P3 tonight. Of course, you wanted to come P1, but mate, sometimes you just can't get it. But a good start to the summer series here for the Sim Boys, mate, and big shout out to everyone involved.
Troy?
Oh, sorry, you got me, fellas?
No, I got ya. Got ya.
Sorry,
I'll just recap on that. I said, mate, Sim Boys always at the front. We're going into Gen 3. Obviously, this is the summer series and just a prelude to what we have in February coming up in the new Gen 3, which it's all going to be new for everyone. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to race because I'll be commentating, but you're excited for that one, and big congratulations on your P3, because I'm going to be coming for you here on the summer series, even though I had a bad night tonight. But big shout out to everyone involved, mate. You're always up the front, and good to see you up in the podium, mate.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, everyone involved. Craig on the win and Adam on that was on second. That was a great battle, and everyone else that was throughout the race has been great. But yeah, just thank the Sim Boys and Hot Toddy Heating Stalls, United Electrical, and then just the series sponsors in everything simulated, Inside Productions, Quasi Esports, and broadcast. Yeah, awesome work, fellas. Love it.
No worries, mate. You have a good night. Good to see you up in P3. It won't be the first, and it won't be the last in the summer series, mate. I can guarantee you that. So big congratulations on P3. But we'll let you go, mate. Steve, across to Adam Malone, P2, qualified P number 1 tonight on the outside of myself, and dropped back early and knew what he needed to do to get the job done. Unfortunately, it just wasn't quite enough to get the win tonight.
Yeah, Adam, congrats on the second place, mate. Up on the podium from first to second, so still finished on the front row. But yeah, look, led 9 laps, and you had a good, fairly consistent race all the way through. Just get your thoughts on how it went tonight. Adam. No, we've lost Adam. We'll come back to him in a minute. Craig Roffey, you there, mate?
Yeah, boys, got you.
Yeah, good day, mate. Look, congratulations on the win tonight. You led your fair share of laps. Great to see you get the win and get a chance to pull that winner's burnout. So taking the chocolates tonight, that was pretty special for the round one, was it?
Yeah, mate, it was good to come back and get back involved in it. Took a little bit of a break to just sort shit out outside of iRacing. But yeah, good to come back and get the win and 0 incidents and fastest lap. So yeah, it was a good night out all around. Rogue 4 out of top 10. So no, it's good.
Yeah, look, 21 laps led, mate. Started 7th, finished 1st. So up 6 spots there. But I mean, you obviously after leading 21 laps, you've poked your nose in front plenty of times tonight, and that finish was pretty spectacular between the three of you.
Yeah, I don't mind poking my nose up the front every now and then. It helps out with the fueling as well, so it doesn't underfill. So like if you're in the draft the whole time, it'll underfill it.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say we've spoken about the tyres a couple of times tonight and how tight the cars felt. You seem to spend a lot of time on that outside line, mate. Were you fairly happy out there? Was that for tyre, to try and look after the tyres, that sort of stuff?
In the early stages of the tyre run, I was using mid to low sort of, and then as the tyres started to wear out, I went up high just so I can keep that momentum. As you would see on the broadcast, if you went high, you can slingshot around on the outside, as long as they don't block you. But it seemed to work for me, so I kept doing it, and paid off.
No worries at all. Look, fantastic run, great drive, from fantastic racing there tonight. The time format, you enjoyed that, did you?
First time I've ever done the time format on a oval, so caught me off guard a little bit with that last lap coming out. I didn't expect it. I thought I had 2 or 3 laps left.
Yeah, great move at the end though.
Yeah, no, it was good, nice and clean with the top 3. So congrats to those other boys as well.
Yeah. All right, mate. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, my missus. She's watching. She's right next to me at the moment.
Finally, somebody's thanked their other half.
Actually, the first time I've ever thanked her. Yeah, the Rogue boys are coming out. MD Sports getting our shirts soon, and everyone involved. You guys behind the scenes. That's good. Good to be back.
No worries. Well, congratulations, Craig Roffey, our winner on for round 1 of the Oz Oval Summer Series, brought to you by Everything Simulated Inside Lane Productions through Quasi Esports. Fantastic, mate. We'll see you back again in a couple of weeks, I guess, will we?
Yeah, mate. I'll be back. We'll be back.
Well, we're off to Legacy, Kentucky in a couple of weeks. So that's probably going to be a different bunch of eggs in the basket altogether, I'd say.
Yeah, being Legacy, I'm guessing. I don't think I've ever done it. I'm guessing it would be bumpy as hell and rip the tyres apart.
Well,
I'll have to do some practice.
I guess we're going to find out, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, should be good either way.
No worries. All right, we'll catch you in a couple of weeks. Then congratulations again, race winner Craig Roffey, on taking out the win in round 1 at Texas Motor Speedway. We're just going to bring it up again. We are going to talk about the Bathurst Clash before we go. And this is going to be a fantastic event. 61 laps around Mount Panorama Bathurst in Gen 7 NASCARs, in the current Cup cars. And it's brought to you by Everything Simulated, Team Watson Racing Setups, Quasi Esports Inside Lane Productions, and hosted by the ISCA, iRacing Stock Car Association. Takes place on December the 6th in US time at 9 p.m. EST, or 12 noon on Saturday, December the 7th in Australian Standard Time. So that's going to be a fantastic event. $7.50 US for your entry, and the prize pool is $50, $30, and $20 US for that. And that prize pool will actually increase as the entries go up, and there's a lot of guys interested in that. So if you're out there and you feel like racing that one, check it out. There's a link in the description of this broadcast, as well as links for the description in the description to all the socials for Oz Oval. So League 10491 if you're interested in joining the series.
And let's just elaborate on that a little bit, Steve. I don't mean to cut you off, mate, but it is a really good thing to be a part of, and we don't have it on the visuals at the moment of the stream. I wish we could, well, I don't see it on the stream, but it would. It's really good. So it's America versus Australia. It's a NASCAR around the most famous track in Australia, Mount Panorama. We're going to have some of the best NASCAR drivers on oval and road from America fighting it out against the Australians, and it's going to be great. Like you said, live race control. We've got a top 10 shootout. Who doesn't want a top 10 shootout at Mount Panorama? When we turn on our screens and we watch the supercars, we all tune in for the top 10 shootout. So we're going to have the best drivers around the world wrangling their cars out in a NASCAR, which is not meant to drive around NASCAR, to see who can take the pole here for the ISCA NASCAR event here at Mount Panorama. We can't wait for that in early December. It's just a simple $7.50 for Americans, or just the conversion for Australian, and it's all here for everyone to enjoy. We can't wait. There's going to be a 30 or 40 car field, I'll guarantee you, because there's a lot of people from Australia that want to be a part of it. So get amongst it. If you are watching the broadcast or you're watching what we're doing at the moment, just have a look. We'll share all the links. The links are in the bio. Everything's there. Sneaky $10. You can be amongst it, and you can maybe come and take the win. But you'll be racing against the best of the best. So I can't wait for that, Steve. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And the the commentary crew, there's a live race control to be decided, but we've got a couple of people in mind. And the commentary crew for that one's going to be Brian Britt, Big Al, and myself. So we'll have three commentators in. I'm going to be there blasting away the Aussie accent, just simply to keep the Australian flavour there, and a little bit of personal knowledge and history of the track and stuff like that as the race goes on. But it's a staged race as well, staged event, 61 laps around the mountain. So that's going to be fantastic stuff, Aidan. And that's, as I said, Kobe Jordan, our producer, one of the organisers of that one. It was his brainchild, and he's worked very hard with Kenny Powell from ISCA to make this happen, with sponsorship from, as I said, everything simulated, Team Watson at Racing Setups, Inside Lane Productions, and Oz Oval V8 Supercar Oval Racing. So it's going to be a fantastic event, and it really, really will be worthwhile jumping in on that one. And if you can't race, by all means, check out the broadcast. It's going to be fantastic stuff, and I think it's going to be a very fun way to spend a Friday night or a Saturday.
Yeah, definitely will. Can't wait for some good racing, some Americans around a track which is not so familiar to them, and a track that is so familiar to the Australians in a car that they're not used to do. So let's get excited about that one. Let's get everyone in there, 30 or 40 cars. Let's raise some money and let's have some fun. But a special thanks, of course, to you, Steve, the league owner, Steve Hoppett, mate. Thank you so much for putting this on. This is a summer series. This is the prelude to what we're going to see in the Gen 3 next year. Of course, if you're interested in becoming a sponsor of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series, we can tailor anything to suit you and anything. So contact us at quasiesports@gmail.com.au. If you want to be a driver, you can search for us on Oz Oval V8 Supercar Racing. The league ID is 10491. Anyone's welcome. If you want to be three wide, door banging around the ovals in a supercar, get amongst it, because everyone's welcome. Show your support. Stay up to date. ozoval.wixsite.com is the website. Facebook.com/OzOvals is where you find us on Facebook. And of course, you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/at Quasi Esports. Next race is round number 2, as you previously mentioned, Steve, the Summer Series, race number 2, November 24. We've got a 2-week break. Kentucky Speedway is the location. It is in the older format, so she's going to be bumpy. It's going to be different. Are we going to be able to see Roffey be able to take back-to-back wins? Are we going to see Malone get up there as well? Troy Davidson will be there or thereabouts. Hopefully I'll be there as well. We'll see how we go, but at the moment it was Roffey, Malone and Davidson, your 3 here for round number 1 of the Summer Series. But Steve, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of the broadcast booth. As much as I was racing, I didn't have the night that it was that I could have had, but we're up here and we're creating content and love it, and we can't wait for round number 2. I'll let you finish off the broadcast, mate, but what a great night it was.
On behalf of our producer, Kobe Jordan, myself and Aidan Schulz, who was both on track and off tonight, thanks very much for watching. We'll catch you in 2 weeks for round 2 at Kentucky. See you later.